What's up, Banggood? I'm Airbornejordan, and this is the quick little video to show you the problem that I'm having with my Beecore F3 Evo with DSM2. I got it up on my screen here, clean flight. Let me plug in the quad here. Alright, so I'm going to plug it in. I'm trying to hold the camera and do this with one hand all at the same time, so sorry if it's all shaky. You can hear the computer connect, and up here on the screen we have, it takes about 10 seconds, and then there it goes. No configuration received, 10 seconds, communication failed, and that's all it says when I go into auto connect. And let me back up. If I come up here and connect, it goes into serial port successfully closed every time I press connect. And then when I reconnect again, it'll pause for a minute and then do the exact same thing. It'll say unable to connect after 10 seconds. And that just sits there and flashes. So I have tried flashing over to Betaflight, and that will connect. And I'm going to show you real quick too. I can connect in DFU mode. I've downloaded all the drivers, the STM32 drivers and the CP210 drivers, and I also converted them over. I installed them successfully, and like I said, my computer, it is connecting to the quad in DFU mode and allowing me to flash, but it is not letting me connect to clean flight no matter which one of the settings or software groups that I use. I've tried 1.31, which is what some people recommended, and that does the exact same thing. It's no different in clean flight. If I flash over to Betaflight, it will connect and the motor spin up to full, and I have no motor control at all. So I'll try to show you that here in a minute. Right, I got the camera rigged up. I got my boot pin loaders here, and I'm ready to connect. And there's that boot pin. What I'm going to do is connect it into bootloader mode and verify that that is working. Okay, so you heard the connection. We got the flashing lights again, which is normal. Let me take the camera here and show you the screen. Let's see, DFU mode. So I am connected in bootloader mode, and I can do firmware flasher, choose board, SP Racing F3 Evo. I'm going to flash over to Betaflight and show you what's going on the Betaflight side. Alright, so here we are in Betaflight, and I am up here, DFU mode. Coming over here to firmware flasher. I'm on SP Racing F3 Evo. Firmware, let's just go ahead and choose the first firmware here, 3.16. No reboot sequence, full chip erase, manual baud rate of 25,600,000. I think that's about it. So we're gonna load firmware online. We got firmware, scroll down and flash. And there you go, programming successful. And so we are going to disconnect. Alright, so I'm reconnecting, and we have COM5, and I'm going to connect, and we're connected. So here's the gyro. You can see it. It seems like everything's working, but it's really not working. That's the problem. So I can configure all my ports and turn on UART1 to MSP. That's what I believe is supposed to be set up for Spectrum. I am flying a DX6i that has DSM2. So we have brushed, And this is the important part that you need to see. Notice the motor motor stop I'm going to turn on, and I'm going to turn off the PID speed. Disarm motor regardless of throttle value, and motor stop is turned on. Over here we're going to change to, I've tried multiple ones, but I can only get my receiver to bind on Spectrum Satellite, and of course 1024 for DSM2. I'll turn off VBAT and all these other things that I don't need for my tiny whoop. I'll keep the accelerometer on, turn off telemetry, black box, transponder, SD card, leave air mode on, and I'm going to save and reboot. Okay, rebooted, still on COM 5. I'm going to reconnect to check. And that did not go. Let's try this again. Turn on. I figured out on this, if you turn them all on and save and reboot, and then reconnect, there it goes. UART1 is still turned on. Okay. So I'm going to leave PIDs stock. I'm going to use that stock. Set my arming switch on, and I think I want this to be at 14.5. And I'll just go to angle mode and just leave it at that. And save and reboot. And like I said, I just wanted to show you these real quick things that I'm doing, so that when the problem comes up, you can kind of see what's going on. So there we have it. My receiver's not hooked up yet. So let's try to get that DX6i to bind up. Alright, so here we go. Spectrum DX6i. And let's see if we can get a focus on that. You can see that it is the older DSM2 version, which is actually spectacular for this purpose. We're going to first turn on the quad. Wait for it to start flashing for bind mode, and put the receiver in the bind mode. Alright, we got nothing. We're going to try to change this. Alright, so I've been messing with this for about a half an hour, and I reflashed to 3.11, and I've got it to successfully connect and bind to my controller. I'm going to show you the quick settings that I have. I have UART1 set on MSP as per the Spectrum DSM2 directions. As you can see, my motor stop is turned on. Motor stop is on. Don't spin the motors when armed, okay? That's important. PPM receiver input is also turned on. And then as we scroll down, all this extra stuff's turned off except for air mode. I left all the PIDs the exact same. I switched my receiver over to the Spectrum TAER1234 on that. And as far as modes goes, I have my arming mode set up there and just angle mode. When I come down here on the master, I don't have any props on. As you can see, no props. So I'm going to go ahead and spin up the motors here. Just this works. Okay, so you can hear the motor spinning up there, and that is working, but it doesn't monitor anything on the line for some reason. Let's try it one more time here. So the monitoring line still says 0 and down. Okay, so anyways, let's go out and hook up the controller, and then I'll show you exactly what it's doing with that controller. Alright, so we got the DX6i turned on. Let's plug in our battery here. Alright, and I believe it just connected. I'm going to go ahead and flick on my arm switch and arm it. Blue light comes on. And remember, we disabled motor stop. The motors are still spinning. It's hard to see, but hopefully you can hear. So I'm going to go ahead and throttle up. It throttles up. And when I throttle up more to fly, now I'm backing off the throttle and it's still at full speed. So now I've got nothing here on my throttle, and I can't get it to shut off unless I throw my disarm switch. So then when I rearm it, throttles down, rearming, comes online. Motor stops turned on, but the motors are still running. And when I throttle up, now I can't shut it back down. Got nothing unless I disarm it. So that's what's going on in beta flight. I don't know what that problem is either. But like I said, in beta flight, it's at least connecting. In clean flight, I'm getting absolutely nothing. So I hope that video is enough. Hope it helps get our problem solved. And if there's anything else that you need to see, let me know.